there will be no real non-controlled currency in the world.
We're coming for you, banks.
Increasing the block size to 32 megabytes right now. What would be the top 5 arguments that would get hurled against me?
Oh, that's a good one.
There are a few that the big blockers got right.
Ching, like all these coins splash into the wallets of all the winners. I love that.
There's a new threat out there. It's crypto.
Hello and welcome back to the Bitcoin Cash podcast, following Bitcoin Cash on its rise to global reserve currency. This is episode number 136, Moria Money and Meme Competition 2024, featuring Luke Pryor. Today is Saturday, the 7th of December, 2024. I'm your host, Jeremy. Jet is doing the producing, same as always. It's been a couple of weeks, so hopefully everyone's been doing good. You should be doing good, actually, because doing well, I guess I should speak English properly, because the price has been absolutely mooning. BCH is at $616 and 48 cents for 100 megasats, which is way up, like almost double what it was on the previous episode. One BTC sat buys 161.8 BCH sats, way up on the ratio there, and one ETH buys only 648.8 megasats, so we're also way up there. BTC, of course, made it past 100k, and we'll touch on the results of that in a moment. But first, our guest Luke Pryor, the meme master, he's just faded off the stream. This is he's a well-known jokester and prankster in the BCH community, and he labels himself on Twitter the high priest of Bcash. I don't know why he decided. I don't even know this self-conferred title that he has, but he has been on the front lines of the BCH meme war and has been checking in every year for the meme competition. This is our 3rd year running it, so we'll see. Hopefully he'll join back in a moment. In the meantime, let's just get onto this price stuff that I wanted to talk about. So Bitcoin Cash doing very well, actually. We've been rising on the ratio against BTC. Now, on the last episode, I said, BTC hasn't just mooned straight to 100k. There was no euphoria or anything like that. And then subsequently, over the next couple of weeks, it of course did go to 100k, but it wasn't like mooning to 100k. You know, it was in the 90s. It went up a bit. It went 99k and then down and then up and then down. I did not feel any sense, really, of euphoria. I gotta be honest. I didn't feel like the whole world was flooding into Bitcoin. I think in 2013, if you had told people Bitcoin will one day hit $100,000, how it actually went down was nothing like they would have imagined. I mean, the price got over 100k. Everyone thought, great. And that was kind of it, really. It got to 103k. Now it's back to 99k. I just still feel like everyone's so overhyped on this bull run. Like if that was the biggest, most hype moment, I mean, there was a few headlines, but it wasn't like taking over the world or anything. I've had people talking to me about Bitcoin, you know, indicating that retail is interested, but it's not like a GME moment. It's not like the world has changed. I really think alt season already seems to have started, right? The money is just pouring into BCH, into Ripple, into Ethereum, into Litecoin, you know, into everything else under the sun. So I'm honestly feeling pretty vindicated, because if that's about the best that we got, up to 103k, even if it keeps going a bit higher, as long as it's not a euphoric, you know, doubling or tripling in price, then the previous high was what, 70 something, 72k, something like that. So if we barely got an extra 25% after 4 years of inflation, this whole BTC store of value thing, that's it, it's over. The whole hype of 4 year cycles and whatnot. What do you think, Jet? First get in here. Am I right about this?
I don't know. I have completely not paid attention to anything cryptocurrency related until like 2 days ago when I saw the price and I was like, why is it always when I buy something that the price goes up?
Well,
I
that's
can
what you
never-
want. You want the price to go up and then you buy something. Or you mean after you bought
Yeah.
something and then the price went up?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So you have no idea. But you don't feel euphoric, right? You don't feel like 100K euphoria, the peak of the bull run,
No.
right?
No. I mean, I've seen
And nobody else
BCH
does.
at 1800, so I'll be euphoric when we get there again.
Okay. All right. This is a man who's well attuned to the BCH maximalist mindset. Luke, tell me about 100K. Was it as exciting as everybody expected it to be, or was it just kind of a nothing burger?
I mean, I was having fun, you know. Yeah, as far as retail goes, I do think retail has less money this cycle, so it's mostly institutional. You know, there's not as much retail celebration. Retail is mostly in meme coins and also Solana or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Why didn't they have as much money though? Is it just because the whole world's going broke as we get to the end of the fiat scam, or like there was no COVID
people just have
stimulus
less money.
checks, or what? People are struggling.
Yeah, I think people are just struggling more. So people have less disposable. There's less disposable income,
Right.
and so people are they're more looking for lottery tickets. You know?
That's kind of the irony, isn't it? When people have less money, it's like what they should do is risk down and just try and consolidate over a long period. But what they actually do is think, fuck, I'm never getting out of poverty. Like, bet it all in black, right?
Yeah. Also, unit bias. You know, 1 Bitcoin's unattainable for most people now.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true.
So-
And do you think we'll be seeing a lot higher this cycle, or do you think the sort of the main thrust of the bull run is kind of finished with regards to BTC specifically?
No, I imagine Bitcoin will at least double.
Double to 200K.
Yeah, or maybe go all the way to 400.
Really? In 2025?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. You and I are on very different time scales.
I mean, but this will be happening as dominance goes down.
Yes.
You
Well,
know?
I mean, that's another key element to this story. So the Bitcoin dominance tends to predict sort of the end of the cycle, right? Because BTC pumps and gets a very high dominance, and then it starts to fade as all the others catch up, right? And we've seen in the previous cycle it hits about 70%. This cycle it hit about 60% and is now back down at like 54%. So I feel like it's already trailing off.
It's probably topped. Yeah. I would imagine dominance will never go over 60% again.
Yeah, well, that's it.
Yeah.
And so you honestly think we can get double the BTC market cap from here and even better in altcoins?
Yeah, because you're getting they'll get institutional FOMO. I mean, countries will buy it. I mean, there's so much money printed still on the balance sheet of the banks. All that money's still got to go somewhere, and Bitcoin's the most liquid.
Damn.
So.
Okay, all right. Well, you've got a lot more faith than me, I would honestly be surprised if we get past probably 150K. I'm trying to give myself a little wiggle room. Even 130 or 140K to me is sounding like a bit of a stretch from where we are now, having passed, because people said, oh, it's going to go past 100K and then everyone will go crazy, it'll be euphoria. And that didn't happen at all. The world didn't change because there's no retail adoption. That's always been my theory.
Yeah, it won't really change the world. I mean, even if it goes to 400K, it's not going to change the world, really. Just some people are going to make a lot of money. It's the same as it ever was.
Yeah, if it's all captured on chain. And that's another thing, right? Because there was not a lot of on-chain volume. Like, some BTC people were surprised, but I was not surprised. I doubt anyone listening to this show would be surprised that like fees hit like $1. In previous, they've gone to 50 or 20, like when everybody, but nowadays nobody transacts on chain. A few exchanges, and it's mostly op return runes trading, right? Literally nobody even need, like the price is just independent of what's happening on chain on BTC essentially at this point, right?
Right. Yeah. Which is like, it's indicative of, honestly, it's like a hyper bubble.
Yeah.
Like the fundamentals are they're the most disconnected from price they've ever been.
Yes, exactly. But then that's kind of a bad thing in the sense that it doesn't give us an indication of when it's kind of over for this cycle, right? Because usually you would be able to see the fees going parabolic and you'd think, okay, it can't sustain any more than this, like the engine's choking out. But we're not even going to see that this time around.
Yeah, there's always other signs though. You know. I wouldn't be surprised if this cycle ends like the euphoria is like there's a chance of a fork.
Yeah, true. We've seen increasingly more discussion about that. Do you think, there's no OpCat in 2024, right? Udi was hyping it up. Turns out he was just running yet another hoax on the BTC community. OpCat definitely in 2024. We're going to show the maxis, blah, blah, blah. Didn't deliver. 2025, you get better than even odds, you think, that we'll have an actual split or somebody will try something?
I think someone will try something and there'll be like a lot of hype around it. Like there'll be a lot of emotional, along with the euphoria of the bull market, there'll probably be a lot of emotions with it. But I highly doubt that there will be any substantial fork with any high market cap.
I mean, people don't tend to fight when the price is going up, though. That's the big problem, is if the price is going up, everybody temporarily gets happy, things are going well, let's not rock the boat, like people start fighting and getting into splits and stuff like that when the price is down and keeps trending down, as we've seen in BCH, right? Yeah,
well, there's oftentimes tension in bull markets. Like the DAO hack with Ethereum that happened during a bull market. Bitcoin was at the end stages of a bull market, wasn't it, when Bitcoin Cash forked?
No, it forked in August, and then the bull market kicked off in like November and December of 2017, which is why then BCH has those mad peaks, right? It was after that was resolved that everyone was like deep sigh of relief, and the price went up.
Yeah, we'll see how it plays out, but I wouldn't be surprised if there was some fork drama. But I doubt there will be any significant market cap of a fork. Like let's say if they fork it with OpCat, like I don't think many people will.
Nobody's gonna give a shit. Nobody's gonna give a shit. But they're still
and they're not gonna get the ticker.
Yeah, so, of course not. And that's where the value is, right?
Yeah, BlackRock. Right.
No, that's where that's true. Bitcoin's basically the largest meme coin at this point.
Yes.
No one uses it,
Okay, all right. That's it for BTC. What about BCH? How are we doing in BCH? Give me the community overview from that point of view.
I think there's lots of positive signs, both with just like traditional financial markets, the fact that it's included in the ETF, that new ETF. So that's very positive. I think a lot of big money watches Bitcoin Cash more than sometimes we realize. Still has a lot of network effects left over. People know what it did previously, and a lot of people still watch it, even if they don't talk about it. They're always, they're always watching it and seeing what it's doing. So that's good. And then the continuing, I'm most bullish because the continuing build out of the DeFi protocols for sure.
Yeah. Okay, we'll get to the specifics of that in a second, but first we've got some not really breaking news. It was announced a couple of weeks ago. We've just had a break on the show, but BLISS is coming back. We've officially revealed that the BCH conference that we ran this year in 2024 with the ABLA upgrade in Slovenia was actually super successful. Like we talked about on this show, we got tons of positive feedback. Everyone had a great time, and so we're running it back for 2025, the Velma upgrade. It's going to be at the same place in Ljubljana in Slovenia, because if it works, why mess it up? I mean, we did have people interested in having it in different parts of the world, but honestly, there's enough other stuff that we need to level up on it before we worry about, trying to do a traveling roadshow in different countries. So we're doing it again in Ljubljana. If you missed out last time, you get a second chance to get in there. If you came along and had a great time, well, same deal, except we're doing 3 days instead of 2. So it's going to be 13th, 14th, and 15th of May. So you get even more BCH action, which kind of correlates to the fact that the community is growing. There's more going on. There's more to discuss. And also it lets us be a little bit more flexible with the timings and the calendar, you know, we found that everybody was pretty wiped out by the end of the day when we
How do you
crammed
say
it all
that?
into 2 days.
How do you say that?
Ljubljana. It's
What?
like it's like Ljubljana. Imagine the
Ljubljana?
J's are eyes.
Okay,
Yes.
Ljubljana.
It's like Ljubljana, if the J's were eyes. Obviously, the VM limits upgrade will be going on, and tickets are going to go on sale. The Velma NFTs, which are the successors to the Jessica NFTs, will be happening on the 15th of January. So that's a heads up for everyone to mark that in their calendar who is keen to get in on that. We're starting with an initial run of 100. But we actually have capacity to expand more. So with the bull run and with the growth in the community and with how much excitement there's been, I'm actually hoping maybe we can do better than 100. I think actually fairly good odds we can. So everyone who's interested can keep an eye out for that. There's also already been some chatter about it because now we have a reputation. So last year, obviously, we were doing it for the first time, so it makes sense that, you know, some people would be a bit more skeptical of it. But this time, Peter Risen, one of the BCH OGs and very strongly focused on scaling and hardware, he's already made public comments that he's going to be there and show off some of his latest stuff. So that'll be awesome to see him. And Eric Wall as well, who last year promised to attend and then rugged, failed to show up, has said that he'll be there this year. So we'll see. I'm hoping he can actually pull through. If he gets rugged again, then you know, it's the boy who cried wolf, and the third time I won't believe him. But I'll give him a second chance. You're going to be there, Luke? You're gonna come to Bliss this time?
I can't not be there.
It's the place to be.
Yeah, let me swap myself in real quick. Boom. All right.
Give us the rundown. Were you hyped about Bliss 2, Bliss 2025? We didn't even call it Bliss 2. We could have called it Bliss 2, Bliss 2025.
Yeah, I'm pretty hyped. I want to this time go to the same. Like, I went to a restaurant that was on the map that supposedly accepted Bitcoin Cash, and they didn't when I showed up. So I want to go back this time and be like, "What's the update? You taking my money yet?"
It'd be funny if you got the exact same waiter, you know.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's the thing. It's interesting because there's so many places that, like, we went to the supermarket and stuff, that you can pay for things because of the Go Crypto terminals. So that's actually really good. But on the other hand, there's not that much of like a local scene, in the sense that there's meetups or like someone who is really driving the local adoption there. And it would be great if we could find, or somebody would appear who was a Slovenian local or Ljubljana, you know, long-time resident or something, that could take control of that, because it's such an opportunity. If we keep having Bliss there year after year, like that would be amazing for that ecosystem. But nobody's stepped up to really get involved in it as of yet. So that's certainly an open. If you're listening to the show and you're in Slovenia, you saw how hype it was last time. I mean, even maybe that's something we can look at trying to get going, is when we were there last time, like the staff actually at the hotel and stuff, they were really impressed. They were like really impressed. I think they started out the event kind of thinking, okay, this is just another event. Like, they literally were running another event. They run events all the time. Okay, it wasn't really any different to them. Okay, we'll help set up the chairs and stuff like that. But then once the people started actually handing out tips in BCH and onboarding them and showing them how it worked, and then at the bar, like buying loads of drinks in BCH, I think then it really started to be like, wow, this is something different. Or at least that was something I definitely noticed. I remember I tipped the guys who helped us with the soundboard. Like, one of the guys was like, okay, I'll take some BCH. And the other guy was kind of skeptical. He was like, yeah, I don't know, this isn't for me, but, you know, thanks for the offer and stuff. And I just, you know, wonder this year when we do it again, like, will there still be some folklore of like last year when they did this? You know?
Yeah, it would be nice if it was the same staff. I was also thinking, I want to try and find a like tattoo artist there, because I think some of the easiest people to onboard locally have been tattoo artists. So if I can find one in Ljubljana, I feel like it'd be sick to be like, okay, well, now I've got a yearly trip and a tattoo artist in another country that I can go and visit, and then they can be the boots on the ground.
Yes, that's true. And what you would get like a tattoo which developed every year, you know, a new piece to the puzzle or something like that.
Yeah.
All right, let's crack on anyway. Hopefully Luke rocks up. So this week we've also seen the launch of Moria Money, the first BCH native stablecoin. So Riften Labs, the team behind Cauldron, have launched this secondary product called Moria USD. So it's a stable coin, but there's obviously different kinds of stable coins. There's the classic Tether stablecoin scam where you say, I have a bank account with $10 in it, so I'm going to issue 10 $1 tokens. You guys can trade those, and then you can talk to me and send me the tokens, and I'll send you via some kind of bank transfer the $1 back. Of course, that entirely relies on the person having the bank account being honest and not issuing more tokens than they have, which of course they never do, because just like how the government can't resist the ability to print more money than they have. Anyway, so Tether is the classic stablecoin scam where they print out a load of tokens and then they have some funds backing it, but then in the end of the day, they're just relying on not having a bank run. If everyone tried to cash in at once, they wouldn't have enough funds and the whole thing would blow up and turn into a complete disaster. Of course, Tether has now hit, what is it? It's like $100 billion or something like that. Let me just quickly check. Tether is number 4 right now, 137 billion US dollars that they've issued. So it's essentially guaranteed that they are run by some part of the American intelligence community, because if they weren't in bed with them, they would be raiding that organization so fast, but they're not. So perhaps it's just their way of trying to add extra levers into the cryptocurrency market and have a bit of extra impact on what's going on, but they're churning out the millions. So there's that kind. There's also the stablecoin algorithmic kind, which was pioneered on Ethereum, I believe, like DAI, which is where you put, say, 300% collateralization. So let's say you lock up $3 of ETH to mint $1 and then the ETH obviously goes up and down, but unless the ETH has a massive crash, then you will have enough ETH to pay back the loans. If people want to cash out the tokens, they just send back the tokens and they get the value in ETH, or they get the original collateral. So I'm not an expert in all that. I don't even know if it's 300%, but I know that's kind of roughly how they do it. Now with Moria USD, the idea has been to use the CashTokens technology, and it's one of these collateralized stablecoins. So you can go on their site, app.moria.money or app.moria.money, and
Moria.
It's
Moria Money.
Isn't it the Mines of Moria?
It's like Lord of the Rings, yeah.
Yeah, Mines of Moria. Okay, Moria Money. I say Mariah, I don't know. Mariah Carey's money. Moria. Oh, the Mines of Moria. Yeah, Moria, right. Anyway, you lock up your money on Moria, so you go on there. It's really quick with Cash Connect and stuff. I was surprised. Like, it took me under 30 seconds to mint some and then add some extra collateral and then redeem it and get my BCH back. It's really slick. I got to take my hats off to the dev team. They've done a great job. But the basic premise is you lock up some BCH, so it has to be at least 110% collateralized. So let's say you're going to lock up $10, you put in $15, so you're at 150%, $15 of BCH, you get your 10 USD, Moria USD, and then you can now trade this USD stablecoin, and at any time you can pay back. It doesn't have to be those exact same 10 MUSD that you loaned out, but some 10 USD that you got from somewhere, MUSD, you can put back in to unlock your BCH collateral. So this effectively allows you to go long against BCH by taking out a loan against the Moria USD, and then if your BCH collateral goes up, you just pay it back. You can even mint some fresh tokens with a lower collateral and pay it back to get back your original BCH, which is quite powerful, right? So that's the basic premise. Of course, the problem is, what if the price goes down, if the BCH price goes down? So you can over collateralize it up, basically as much as you want, I think, but the minimum is 110%. Now, if the price of BCH falls and the collateral goes below 110%, then the contract becomes open to anyone else to liquidate. And the idea is that, let's say if it hits 109%, if it's at 111%, you took out the loan, you're the only one who can pay it back and get the BCH. But if it hits 109%, then anyone can. So somebody else can essentially pay $10 to get $10.90 worth of BCH in that collateral when it's at 109 cents. So there's a market incentive for people to come in and liquidate all these failing loans. Now, I still see that there could be an issue if the BCH price fell so much and so fast that not enough people came in to liquidate the loans before the loans went from 109% to 105% to 99%, because at 99% it's not worth it to liquidate the loan. But in that case, I guess the people who had the original Moria USD are just underwater until the BCH price pumps. So I'm not sure how that exactly works, but the general premise seems fairly solid. Of those that if there's a 9% profit, why wouldn't you just immediately cash in and liquidate people's loans, provided there's enough attention to do that? So it's gone to number one on Cauldron because everybody has wanted to try this out, and they have about 13,000 USD in total value locked so far. I know you're a huge fan of this project, Luke, and I guess from your experiences with DeFi on other coins. So give me the breakdown. What do you think about Moria Money, and why is it such a big deal?
I think it's part of the pivot, Bitcoin Cash is kind of experiencing, with some of the VM improvements. Bitcoin Cash as a community used to be very focused on like in-person Bitcoin Cash payments. But seeing the success of other coins and like what the market wants, I think that this pivot is very beneficial to Bitcoin Cash. People want to use DeFi. They want to have, not only do they want to, create stuff like meme tokens and stuff like that, but all these things are also very useful for even just price, because you're locking up your Bitcoin Cash, right? There's less Bitcoin Cash in circulation, which is good for the price. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
And it's a way to bootstrap network effects. We saw that with Ethereum. Ethereum basically bootstrapped its network effects through its DeFi. No one was really using Ethereum that much for payments. It's mostly, Uniswap. That's what really kicked it off was Uniswap. And so, Moria Money is very cool. It's more similar. If you want to learn about the protocol, the best place to learn actually is a project on Ethereum called Liquidity. It's liquity.org, I believe, Liquidity. It's more similar to that than DAI. So DAI was kind of like the first stablecoin on Ethereum, but there's been some innovations in that space, and there's several new kind of protocols, and Liquidity is one of them.
How old is that, do you know? And how much how much has this sort of tested the waters of all this?
Liquidity's been out for at least 2 or 3 years. It has a high TVL, so I think their stablecoin's called LUSD, which I believe is over $1 billion.
Damn. Okay. All right.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's in the multiple billions of market cap. But it's more capital efficient. It's actually better than DAI in most ways. It's more capital efficient. There's no interest on the loans, like what we're seeing with Moria Money. There's no interest.
Yes.
It's safer than DAI. Because with DAI, like everything's in the pool, and then like people have to vote on like how the pool's appropriated. It's just more complicated. Liquidity and Moria Money are much more like the economic theory is much simpler.
Yes.
And
also, I bet It has to be made from scratch, though, which is why this is quite important, you know, because we're on the UTXO chain with cash tokens as opposed to on the EVM model. So we've sort of, or the Shadow Wizards guys of the Riften Labs, they've copied the economic design, but they've had to technically re-engineer it, right?
Yeah, they basically just took the economic design of Liquidity and they simplified it a little bit, and then they redid the architecture for UTXO chain.
So do you think that's bullish, or that's an additional benefit, or is that a problem?
No, I think that's a great thing. Liquidity, if you talk to a lot of people in the know, Liquidity is one of the best stablecoin designs out there. It's like they even have a version 2 coming out. The Bitcoin Cash will be able to implement later on down the road if we want. That's even better.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. And I think it's like you said, that the Shadow Wizards guys have been really smart because they started with a DEX and now they've added that. Right. So that's like the main 2 components that you need to bootstrap an ecosystem, right?
Yeah, 100%. And so you need the stable coin for various reasons. You can't do it on Cauldron right now, but at some point they have said they will release a new version of Cauldron where you can do you can pair 2 different tokens. And so you'll be able to pair a token with the stable coin, which will be cool. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, because you need you need to be able to pair with a more stable unit of value for certain applications, you know. But yeah, it opens up a whole new, this DeFi stuff opens up a whole new avenue for making money. Basically, you can do so many things with Moria Money. One of them is if someone's underwater on their loans, you can just be a loan shark, make money that way. You can basically use it as leverage. You can take your Moria money, buy more Bitcoin Cash.
Yes.
You know, you can take that money as well. You can do other investments. You can buy a rental property.
All right, Luke's house might once again. Oh, here he is. Carry on.
You know, you can take that money. I don't know if you heard me, but you could go leverage long Bitcoin Cash, basically.
Yeah.
You know, you take that Moria, you take the MUSD, buy more Bitcoin Cash. You could use it for starting a business. You could buy a rental property with that money. And so you could yield farm it. So one of the best ways to do it, is, you just park your money in the MUSD and Bitcoin Cash pool. Yeah. If Bitcoin Cash goes down, you're basically it adds more Bitcoin Cash to your position. So you're averaging down. And if the market goes up, you're automatically taking more profit because more of the pool is going to go towards MUSD.
Yes. Yes.
You know what I mean?
And you're also making money on the fees of people swapping back and forth the whole time, right?
Right. So yeah, pairing a stable coin with Bitcoin Cash and then yield farming is a great way to. And a lot of big players like to do that because it's less risk. It's less volatile. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
On the way down, you're basically adding more Bitcoin Cash to your position. On the way up, you're taking profit. You know?
Yeah. I'd never even thought of that. Like, wow, that is actually pretty cool. This opens up all these sorts of different different DeFi farming strategies for sure. Yes. And then it seems to be working in the sense that the on-chain transactions for BCH have grown noticeably, right? In the last week or two, when you're doing about 15,000 transactions per day, it's crept up to about 35,000 per day. And I would guess that a lot of it is coming from not only this is not the, one and only driver of all that, but just in general, as the network effect is building up of all the promotional platforms, hype in the community, people are getting more interested, people want to try out the different cash tokens techs, like we did the meme coins and everything like that. It does seem to be working, and that's something that the BCH community has been lacking for a very long time, was strong enough reasons to draw in people to actually drive on-chain volume, right?
Yeah, and so many people, even like I meet so many people that own Bitcoin Cash don't even know it has tokens now. And so, and then people also, don't realize how fast the DeFi is.
Yes, it is. You don't even notice. You don't ever have to worry about confirmations or any bullshit like that. You just send it on all the Cauldron stuff at Moria. You send it and it says pending confirmation, but it's already worked. So you just click OK and then you carry on. You don't sit there being like, waiting for the ticker to spin down or anything.
No, exactly. You can do the loan on Moria Money, take out the MUSD, put it on Cauldron, swap for a token, all in like, you don't have to wait for a block. People don't realize you don't have to wait for a block.
Yeah. And you also can't lose money on like gas fees, right? Because on ETH or depending on the other chains, you can lose money one of two ways. One, either the fee is really high and so you've just lost your money there, you know, paying the fee. But the other way you can do it is you can try and make a transaction and then the transaction fails, but you still had to pay the fee. But in BCH, you have neither of those problems, right? The fee is already so low that you barely even would ever notice. And then there's also no way, even if somehow it did get changed or moved or somebody else front ran you, like you even can't even do that because the transactions are all linked. But even if they could, if your transaction doesn't go through, you don't pay a fee. That's how it works. If your UTXO didn't get in, it carries the fee like with it, right? You didn't have to pay for any computation that you didn't actually take up. So it's, I mean, this is what we've been talking about on this show. Like you and I have talked on this show, you know, the last couple of years, right? About this is the kind of thing that's going to start happening. And now we're actually seeing it, right?
Yeah, and so many people, they don't realize that you don't have to wait for a block. They don't realize you have this sort of user experience on Bitcoin Cash. So like what I've already started to do on Telegram is I just give people a couple dollars worth of MUSD. So first of all, it's hey, you want some Bitcoin Cash tokens? They're like, what? Bitcoin Cash has tokens? That's number one. They're like, yeah, here, have some MUSD. What? They have a stable token? That's number two. Like, yeah, here you can trade for some meme coins on a call. Oh, they have a DEX? Like, you know what I mean? It's like three. It's like if you give them some MUSD, it's like 3 or 4 things. They're like, what? And then like I just tell them, yeah, go buy a meme token with it or something, and so they can experience it. And they're like, oh wait, like you don't have to wait for a block. It's instant.
Yes.
Like and it's less than a penny. And you can do like 25. You can do like 25 swaps or 50 swaps or whatever. You can do it like however many swaps you want instantly for a penny. Like you don't even have to wait for a block. It's actually a really snappy UX.
Yeah, and that is how you get someone's attention, right? Is you have to tell them something cool, but people need repetition. One thing, okay, cool, and then they move on with their day. But if they start walking down the path, and then the next thing and the next thing gets their attention, then they're like 20 minutes in thinking, This is some shit that people are not aware of. Like I'm ahead of the crowd here. This is where the alpha is. This is where the value is, right? Yeah.
One big hurdle I've noticed is that most people that have Bitcoin Cash wallets, though, they're using like their Trezor or they're using some like broad wallet that supports all the different chains, and most of them don't support cash tokens. So like I've had to learn like, oh wait, this isn't a token address, is it? So like that's definitely one thing. Hopefully we can get more cash token integration with like the wallets that most people are using.
Well, we're going to have to start with internally in the ecosystem. Right. It's on the roadmap for December. We're starting in Selene. We're starting to look like even in BCH, we don't have universal high quality support for cash tokens. So I feel like step one is you get that rolled out everywhere. So at least people are using those wallets. And then it becomes a differentiating factor. If people are interested in this, then they also have to try out a new wallet. And then maybe they discover, wow, BCH has all these cool wallets. So that's another win. Right. But it's only once we have that and it starts getting more traction that then all the other generic ones like multi-coiner wallets will think, okay, maybe this is actually, like a lot of them, I guess they probably don't have ordinal support, or maybe they probably have ERC support because that ecosystem is huge, but it has to be big enough that really justifies it to them, right?
Yeah, and we'll probably start seeing more, like the Bitcoin.com wallet, I bet they'll support cash tokens sometime next year, if I had to bet.
Yeah, I think that's probably likely too. I mean, we're seeing a lot of action in the chat. Like the community seems to have received this kind of stuff really well as well too. Like you said,
that's exciting.
Once upon a time, it was just kind of like, okay, we're trying to do merchant onboarding and peer-to-peer cash and yada yada. But then with all the propaganda and how that didn't play out so much in BCH's favor, it's taken a little while to get everyone to, on this new set of ideas, but it's working, and nothing makes people more excited than success, right? So I think you can see that morale vibe spreading through the community.
Yeah, and it enables much more capitalism. Whoever can figure out Bitcoin Cash DeFi the best will be like the people to figure out Ethereum DeFi the best earliest. and they
They'll
will
get
make
super rich.
massive amounts of money.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
So we've aligned the incentives. Yeah.
Yeah, right. No, someone's gonna make the biggest meme token on Bitcoin Cash, and that person will probably make a lot of money. Hopefully,
Yes.
someone's gonna figure out how to do yield farm the best. You know what I mean?
And
Someone's
that
gonna be the best
liquidity
loan
effect.
shark. Someone's gonna be the best loan shark on Moria Money. It opens up more capitalism for people.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and I mean, this is all the result of all the protocol upgrades and things that have been ticking along behind the scene, and then that's going to be even upgraded next year with the VM limits that we now have like locked in. I didn't see any contention about that, right? So I think everybody's happy with that. I assume you're a fan of those upgrades as well too, right?
Oh, yeah,
I believe we
100%.
asked you about it before, yeah.
Yeah, and that's another thing why I'm very bullish on Bitcoin Cash is Jason has kind of become more of a voice. Even on Twitter lately, I've noticed he's become more of a voice, and it's pretty rare that you have an engineer of his level that's as well spoken as he is.
Yeah, true.
So I think he's getting the attention of a lot of other engineers.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
he's
hey,
been
hey
writing
guys,
some
we
really
can-
good threads.
Yeah, like, hey guys, we can do this now. If you want to come check this out,
And he does it in such a non-tribal way. He just it's always about BCH, but he just says BCH can blah 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 blah. He doesn't try and do he does compare a little bit with other chains, but it's usually subtly wrecking them. Where he says oh, and now BCH is 10x more efficient than this chain and this chain. So, but it's just like a statement of fact, and he doesn't get flooded with trolls because nobody would want to argue with him. Because sometimes people try, and then he's just like, oh, by the way, that point, I've already written a whole thread on it. Here you go. Here's the full insane rebuttal about that. So have fun.
Yeah. So the building blocks are there. I'm excited to see other, projects pop up. I imagine sometime next year there'll be a couple big projects that come out of the blue from other teams, from other chains or something. Someone will come along.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll definitely be keeping an eye out for that. If you had to bet, what would you expect to see? Because like you said, there's the DEX, there's the stable coin. What's the next level? What's the next most obvious thing to build, do you think, for a DeFi ecosystem?
From a pure money perspective, the most obvious one is honestly just building a competitor to Cauldron and Moria Money. So someone coming along being, hey, we have another stable coin that's better, or we have more money behind us. We can market better, and then that'd be a good thing. There'll be competing, protocols.
Competitive pressure. Yeah. No,
That's the simplest one. Other ones are more just other loan protocols, more similar to Aave.
Yeah.
For instance, so you could take a token, and then take a loan out against the token
instead of just the BCH.
Yeah. But the Riften guys they're going to be innovating as well. They've already said in 2025 there'll be a new version of Cauldron. Yeah, especially with the VM limits, they're going to be they'll be rewriting the contracts. BCH Bowl team will be innovating in some ways. I imagine they've already talked about they're going to be trying to create a way you can pool the contracts together.
Yeah, and some kind of tokenized version of that then you can trade on Cauldron, and then maybe you can collateralize your Moria money with it, so it does all start to fit together really nicely, right?
Yeah. I mean, that's what we want. We want a thriving ecosystem with people competing, and then there'll be various interest rates. You know what I mean? Oh, can I make more money hedging, or can I make more money, just in the MUSD pool, and then weighing the risks of that, and you'll have a whole, like I said, that's capitalism. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah. So, are we going to be seeing you at BLISS then, or what's the go?
Probably not. I have a wife and children, and it's far away.
Yeah, but for a couple of days,
what is
the amount of money that you've made on BCH? Justify it. It's a business expense.
What is it in March?
It's in May with the upgrade.
Oh yeah, maybe that'd be fun.
Okay, all right. That's what I like to hear.
Can you get to the UK easily from there?
Yeah. I mean, it's like a one and a half hour flight or something. Yeah. Europe's
To the
Europe's
small.
just like like it's much smaller than America,
Europe isn't like
geographically speaking. So you can just bounce around different places. It's not
maybe I'll
not
visit
that hard to do.
Bunch of people in the chat saying like, you gotta go.
You gotta go, man.
I mean, FIEND says, Luke, I have a wife and kids. I mean, a lot of people do, and that's one thing actually that I think will be interesting to see this year. If people, like last year, a few people brought their wives, their girlfriends, different stuff. I wonder, even we had a couple kids there, I wonder if this year we might see even more of that, It would actually be super cool that you have a very like diverse crowd, People are bringing their partner, people maybe are bringing their kids and everything. That would just really go to show that the community was appealing to a broad range of people, and then you can get a network effect of that. So it's not, just like BCH hard, diehards or devs or something like that, which it wasn't anyway, but as the community expands, that just becomes more and more appealing to more and more people, right? It's awesome.
These conferences will get bigger and bigger.
Yeah, for sure.
As the Bitcoin Cash, like the culture will get bigger,
Yeah. I think we're definitely already seeing that. Okay, I've got community comment of the week here, which kind of cuts to this point. So we had shout out to Jingles BTC, the most deluded BCH hater, spends his whole life really on Twitter upset about BCH. So I feel bad for him clearly existing in some kind of personal tormented psychological hell. But he said, how about every example in practice has failed to attract users, security, or an ability to fund its infra, except when it finds a wealthy funder? This is trying to say, BCH is such a failure. And then Callisti, the Selene lead dev, wrote back to him and said, it seems like we're definitely attracting users. I have direct insight into this as I distribute 3 BCH wallet apps on the App Store. Here's Selene Wallet's built-in stats demonstrating month-over-month growth correlates with price gains too. I host the BCH Infra 2, I'm not wealthy, end quote. And he's got the graph that you can see anytime that you look in Selene. You can just go on there and see our active users, and month over month it's growing. I believe, I'm just going to have a quick look now, but I believe we're over like 850 users this month or something like that. And week over week it's growing, and month over month it's growing even more. And I just felt like this was a perfect little demonstration of several things coming together, Okay, 843 this month, but BCH has no need to be defensive, and the best reason not to is if you just have stats that you can just pull it up and say, here's the stats, debunked, you're wrong. And that's the end of that. That's why on this show I'm always talking about projects open sourcing their statistics, and it's so motivating when you can see the growth. So week on week, 365 people in the last week, and 810 active users in November, and we're already looking good at, November's still only just getting started. We're already looking good to probably do better than that again. So I think the growth is really starting to show up on all metrics. I don't know what more to say. What do you make of this use of statistics?
I think Bitcoin Cash is on the right track, but it's important to also have perspective. Like we talk about the excitement of Cauldron and stuff. These things are still tiny. Like Solana probably has 10,000 meme coins with a higher TVL than Cauldron combined. Yes. You know what I mean? But we're on the right track, and the pillars are there, but it's going to be a grind.
How do we know when the hype? Well, I guess we'll know when it arrives, just because we'll be so swept up in everything. But is there some kind of indicator that you're going to look at, like where we've really started to make it once, I don't know, a certain person tweets about BCH or a certain something happens?
I know it's probably not what people want to hear, but the hype will probably come from green candles first.
Yes. Well, that's why it's good to be in now, because then it'll be, you're benefiting, everybody else piling in.
Yeah. And then people will see the green candles, and then they'll ask questions.
Yes. What's happening here? Let me look into it. Oh, wow. What's this BCH podcast, etc.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Well,
and
I
then
think
we need to be
all right.
on top of it. People ask questions. So we need to encourage them, and
Yeah.
You know, now I love how we have the tokens. Now people can just send them a little bit of send them some tokens.
Yeah. Just try it out. The #1 most proven onboarding strategy of all time to crypto. Gambling on tokens, yeah.
Or you just send them a little, have them play around with the DeFi, And
well, we're doing
on the right
pretty
track.
well on the pro. Yeah. I mean, I feel like maybe that's already what's happening. Like, the whole market has been going up, but BCH has been, outperforming BTC. It's not going up the ranks because different coins basically just pump past us, and then they fall back down after a couple of weeks, But there's certainly we're keeping up with the market, which I love to see, and maybe that is just a huge factor in driving the interest.
Or it was just a bull market. But and Bitcoin Cash is very cutting edge in a lot of ways. I don't think a protocol like Moria Money exists on any other proof of work UTXO chain.
I don't think so. Litecoin, no way.
Like Cardano has some stablecoin type stuff like that, but they're not proof of work.
Yeah, and this is where it all comes to.
Yeah, that's the only proof of work UTXO chain that's even doing this stuff.
And the benefit there is just massive, because firstly, those guys are not going to be able to compete. They're just not going to be able to, because once the network effect gets started, it's easier to join up on BCH than to start again on Litecoin or Dash or Cardano or anything else. Because there's so many layers. You have to do the protocol work, then you have to do the tooling work to build the apps, then you have to build the apps, then you have to integrate it into wallets, and then you have to get hype and TVL and transactions, and then you have to do marketing. Among all those things, that's years and years of work. So by then, BCH is just already taken off,
Yeah, and a lot of people will come back to BCH. There's a lot of people that were in BCH that left just because price, and they got attracted to other coins or other narratives or whatever. And there's other people that have always liked Bitcoin Cash, but they've always kind of been on the sidelines.
Yeah.
So as a Bitcoin Cash get network effects, a lot of people will come back. I think it's almost like a religion, right? The religions are
yes. I love that we're sitting here having this conversation, though, because I remember a year ago, 2 years ago, we were on this show having this chat that this would be the point that we're at, and now it's delivering, So I feel like we're in pretty good stead with our predictions that in a year or two, the ecosystem will have grown out even further on BCH, and it'll be starting to just suck in so much network effect from all these other competitors. I'm feeling very confident about that, actually. So I think we're doing nicely.
Yeah, I'm excited to see the build out in 2025. I would like to even do some sort of something like this, like the meme competition, but do a hackathon at some point.
Yes. Yeah, that would be super cool. And I mean, with BLISS, organizing a physical event, it has both its pros and cons, right? It's really good to get everyone in person. The signal there is so high, it's unbelievable, and everybody has a great time too. It's super fun. But on the other hand, there's also a lot of logistics involved. A lot of people can't make it, etc., etc. But some kind of DeFi hackathon that was online over a weekend, we could do some live streams. You can check people's work all remotely and stuff. Things being published on chain. Sounds awesome to me. Yeah,
and people can submit a business plan with the smart contract they designed, and then just get more and more builders. That's the biggest thing now, is just the tooling and attracting builders, I think.
Yeah. You think the money will come, once you have the excitement and the energy that attracts the big money to actually fund those ideas. Like, for instance, with Cauldron, right? They got a lot of funding from the flip starters, which is awesome. It just goes to show that system can work, right? But they were only able to get a fat stack because they were a known team with known, very skilled contributors. Not everybody else would be in that position, nor would they be, justifying that huge amount of money, right? But you've got to get started somewhere, and then it's VC investing, right? So some of it works and some of it doesn't. But you think builders first, and then the money comes, rather than the money. The money comes first only on a corporate chain, right? And we're not that, so it has to be the builders.
Right. And we need to do our part as a community to find and try to foster and help builders, for sure.
Yeah. Okay, well, look out for that, everyone.
We can make the
Everyone
Bitcoin.
be
We can,
encouraged.
we can make the Bitcoin Cash Foundation the official sponsor of that. I get a kick out of the foundation.
Cheap Lightning will fucking hate that. The officially unofficial. Well, I love it how he got his news, he got his press release out there. He's doing amazing work, honestly, because that's what those other guys want. They just want the name Foundation. If it says Foundation, they're bought in, and then they'll publish. They literally publish his description, this officially unofficial announcement that yada yada, whatever it was, and then it gets loads of traction on all these other crypto sites. So
no, I really look forward to the day, honestly, that Bitcoin Cash gets network effects, and then I can just send people to the Bitcoin Cash Foundation site when they're asking who the foundation is.
Official people, yeah, perfect. Well, I'm sure that will build out as well over time.
Yeah. No, for
shout
sure.
out to Cheap Lightning is running. You can go on fundme.cash right now and donate some funds to that if you think that work is important. I've put in 5 BCH, and I think I encourage everybody to chip in some funding, because as that goes along, then that will also grow as an organ, because there will be more demand. There'll be people reaching out, needing contacts, needing directions to this kind of thing. You know, you've got to have the weekly news and the different media releases, and maybe a perfect to collaborate with on a hackathon and visibility for that kind of thing. So it's really great to see. Like, that's the magic of the free market, really, is once the demand is there, solutions appear, right? Someone has the incentive to get in there and fix it, you know.
Right, for sure.
So shout out there. Okay, we've got a bunch of other news that we're not going to do in detail, but you can maybe comment on some of this. BCH has been included in that 10 crypto ETF that you looked at. I didn't even see the specifics. I just thought, we got included. That's good to see. Once again, the brand name carrying us and the history quite a bit. BTC breaks 100K, but the retail euphoria kind of wasn't there. Alt season underway. We already kind of touched on that. Roger Ver has blown up, I mean, as if he wasn't already, a huge name in crypto, but he has now become this kind of American politics figure, not really through his own doings necessarily, but so much that his case around being persecuted by the US government and, being trapped in Spain, and the taxes that he filed on Bitcoin at a time when there wasn't any proper tax regulation and all that stuff, has just become this thing that the political right-wing voices in America have started championing after, like, Ross Ulbricht was, looking good for a pardon from Trump, and Julian Assange obviously had a fairly decent 2024 as well too. So he's now become the sort of, I don't know, like, there is a team working on his case, so I don't know whether they changed their media strategy and that's helped it, or he's also just gained traction that way. But on the prediction markets, I've seen it's between 40 and 70% to get a Trump pardon, and then in a sort of similar manner, the Tornado Cash guys that we covered on this show, getting wrecked for making open source privacy tooling, they also got a big win. The Fifth Circuit held that the US Treasury's sanctions against Tornado Cash smart contracts are unlawful, a historic win for crypto and all who care about defending liberty. Coinbase is proud to have helped lead this important challenge, from Paul Grewal.eth, who I guess is some Coinbase type of guy. These smart contracts must now be removed from the sanctions lists, and US persons will once again be allowed to use this privacy protecting protocol. So things are coming along nicely there. And finally, in a sort of another semi-overlapping thing, Thierry Baudet, the Dutch politician who was featured on the show for waving around hijacking Bitcoin in the Dutch parliament, he went along to a Bitcoin BCH Netherlands meetup, and apparently had a really good time and was interested in what's going on. And so the as a combination of all these factors, given that these were the kind of things that we talked about on stage at BLISS in May, we talked about the Tornado Cash privacy thing, we talked about Roger's case, and about the increasing political involvement of people with cryptocurrency and with Bitcoin Cash. So from all these different events, what do you make of this?
Yeah, it's good that we're getting more the city. You know, Roger Vere's been a big part of that. I think more and more eyes are starting to, partially because of also with Ross Ulbricht, you know, that's gotten a lot of eyes on that issue in general. You know what I mean? But yes, you know, things are looking up politically for crypto in general with the Trump win. It's just kind of like inevitable, right? So I've said for a long time that crypto is not going to adapt to society and the government. Society and the culture and the government will have to adapt to crypto. What that looks like 10 years from now, you know, when Bitcoin Cash has network effects and just doing 1 gigabyte blocks and everyone's on chat, I don't know. It's actually almost impossible to know what that world looks like. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's a very different world.
Yes. Well, that's technology, right? It's like technology is the disruptor, and then politics follows that, and then law follows that. Well, I guess it's probably technology and then media. Like media catches on first, and then politics finds out that it's a big deal in the culture, and so it becomes something that you have to appeal to voters about. And then the law is last as whatever problems emerge, and somebody is in front of a judge, you know, trying to deal with it, right? So this is just a knock-on downstream effects, like Roger is in his situation now in 2024. Supposedly, I mean, it's a bit of persecution really, but about things that happened in 2014, you know, it's like he wasn't, you know, under fire in 2014 for what was happening in 2014. He was under fire now from what happened in 2014. And in 2034, they'll still be, you know, wrangling about some 2024 DeFi deal that was done, right? Yeah. And the technology will have moved on. Yeah, exactly. No, for sure. But yeah, hopefully, you know, he does get pardoned. I'm pretty hopeful that he will be. It is a, you know, it's not, I don't think it's just a coincidence that they did it right after hijacking Bitcoin was released. Yes. That's been one of the biggest stories of this year, right? I've talked about it a bunch of times. I think like that will be probably go down in history as one of the turning points in the whole crypto narrative and everything. The release of that book has just been so enormous and so impactful. The BCH community obviously loved it, but everybody else got it. They finally got it, you know. It was finally written down in one straightforward place that explained it all, well cited from Roger, who is the most credible person to do it, obviously helped by Steve Patterson. And they just, I don't know how they launched it at the exact right time, and now it's ended him up in all this hot water, but the impact has been insane. And I don't remember what the term is, but arresting him has 10x'd it. Oh, the Streisand effect. Yeah, like it's put more. He's become a martyr. He's become Bitcoin Jesus. You know, well, which he already was, but it's happened several times. Yeah, it's happened again. They've crucified him. Yes. And suddenly all these people are like, well, Roger, I didn't agree with him about X, Y, or Z, but now he's being unfairly persecuted and fucking. Yeah, so it was a massive backfire. Well, maybe if they just left it alone, it was already making waves, you know. Like it's a bit of damned if they do, damned if they don't, from the government's point of view, or from anybody who's trying to, you know, smear him or whatever. Because if they had left it alone, it's just one of those, like, with somebody who is like hell-bent on disrupting things, there's no good option. If you try and fight them, that amplifies Streisand effect and conflict and energy. People get attracted to it. But if you leave them alone, they just keep going, you know, like they just keep putting up wins on their own. So I don't know, you know. Yeah, I mean, obviously it's great, you know. I think it's great, but it just goes to show, you know, if you're, some people are hard to stop, basically. Yeah, no, but I'm hopeful he'll get pardoned. I think he will. Yeah, I'm really hoping so. And then he can send Trump some cash tokens in the Oval Office when he meets him. Then he gets to shake his hand. Yeah. That would be the craziest timeline. What does Elon say? You know, the most entertaining outcome is the most likely. Gosh, that would be amazing. Roger Ver meets Trump and convinces him that BCH is the real Bitcoin. Like that would be absolutely unreal. Oh well, our best is with him in that regard. And Paul just clarifies in the chat that Thierry Baudet was a speaker at the Bitcoin Netherlands meetup, which was very popular. I mean, I guess because he had also been helping to promote it, right? But it was like 60 or 70 people, and Paul is just saying, like, just helping people understand and showing them hijacking Bitcoin. I saw they're releasing it in a bunch of new languages as well. They've already got English and Spanish, but Steve was tweeting about they're going to have, Chinese and Russian and all these other things. And so, it'll be perfect. 70 people at this meetup, just getting more copy. It's like information is easy to spread, right? It's easy to spread bullshit, but once you have a well condensed version of the truth, that's a powerful thing that we can all try and spread, right?
Yeah, for sure.
All right, let's get on to the meme competition. The people have been waiting the whole time. So we had our 3 prizes in two categories. So there's the cash tokens prize, first place 1 BCH, second place 0.5 BCH, and third place 0.2 BCH. And there's also 3 individual memes, whether that be typical images or otherwise, for 0.1 BCH each. So we've done a little bit of conferring before the show, but I think we'll also partially just judge it live on air a little bit here as well too. So do you want to start with the cash tokens or with the images, Luke?
Let's do the cash tokens first.
Yeah, I agree. Let's do the cash tokens. Okay, so first up, I this is my personal pick for number 1 that I think I want to vote to win is Fiendish Crypto, who was just in the chat before with his Fiend token. So he launched a token which is now gone. It's number 7 on Cauldron, which is a pretty impressive effort, with a price of $1.42 and a TVL of $4,772, which is not insignificant when the top coin is 13,000. But his idea was to try and generate some utility in people transacting in cash tokens. So the concept is that the most valuable asset is time. Like if you could have all the BCH in the world, but you die tomorrow, that's a bad deal, right? Because your time is more valuable than that. So he has tokenized his own time with this Fiendish token, a total supply of 5 million, which equates to 40 years of 125,000 minutes each. And then every year he will burn 125,000 of them as the time in his life decreases. And if you get some of this Fiendish token, which you can do by earning it from someone else or buying it on Cauldron or whatever, then you can redeem it with him for his time. Each token is worth 1 minute of his time. So it's essentially like a consulting fee or a consulting service where you can give these coins to him in exchange for his time, which I think is actually a genius idea. And I've tested this out myself. He will deliver. So if you get some of these coins, you can get some of his time. Obviously, he's very knowledgeable about BCH and the ecosystem and a number of other things besides. So whatever need you have, he's a good person that you can get adding advice and direction and momentum to any project or anything you want by buying this token. Now, he went even above and beyond that, which is that he started his Fiendish and Friends Twitter Spaces series, which I highly recommend everyone to check out if you're missing the BCH podcast because we've been a bit slower the last couple of weeks. Then go and listen to some of that because they're amazing. He's done 4 episodes so far. They're about an hour and a half each, and he puts them up on YouTube and on RSS feeds and on Twitter, obviously. And he talks to people in the industry, and he has quite a different take. He does the little news highlights at the start, and then he gets into discussing with people in the industry. And it's also premised around his token. People need to send in tokens to pay for his time to fund the next episode, right? And then in each episode, he also does NFT drops as to each individual episode as well. So I have just been blown away with how much creativity and work he has put into this, just because we decided to do a cash tokens competition. So I really have to take my hat off to him here. What do you make of this, Luke? Were you as impressed as I've been?
Yeah, I'm impressed by the traction. Like on his comments when he does the giveaways, how many people I see asking for the token, and a lot of them are people seem to be from like other communities.
Yeah,
because a lot of them have like the Ethereum NFT profile picture.
Yeah. So you think he's hitting a new segment of the market?
Yeah, I think a lot of them are from like non-Western nations and stuff, which is cool, which is great. You know, Bitcoin Cash can really appeal, I think, to less developed countries because of the fees are so cheap.
Yeah. It's a good way to get involved. Yeah.
You know, you can buy and swap a meme token on this, like, you know, for less than a penny. You know, so it's much more accessible than some of these other chains.
Yeah, for sure.
You know.
All right.
So yeah, I think it's. I think he's doing a great job with the outreach for sure.
All right, well, I'm not going to push you on a decision just yet. Let's have a look at, so another top meme coin that we had was the Someone token. So we had this meme in the BCH community. I got sick of people in the Telegram groups always saying someone should X, Y, and Z. Someone should start a FAQ. Someone should make a guide about this. Someone should convince so-and-so to go on a podcast or whatever. And I got tired of responding to all of them. You should be that someone. There is no someone. You are the someone. Take initiative, you know, get out of the victim mentality. If you see something that needs doing, you've got to do it. And so then we made someone, and then you can just type /someone in the chat, and then it automatically hits them with this graphic and says, you've got to be the one, take initiative, you know. So I thought this was a smart move. Somebody made a Someone meme token, which is smart because it's building on an existing meme that is already well known. They're in the chat right now. It's number 34 on Cauldron with $79 of TVL, which not a bad effort. They made a whole website actually at @someone, the number one.
I'll have to check it out here.
.cash. Yeah, take a look. Tell me what you think. It's very inspirational. It says someone represents the collective positive energy of the human population. You can reward someone's good actions or intentions with someone and receive someone for being truly someone. It's got a nice meme aspect. They made one of those yo dog memes with, I'm glad someone started the whole someone thing so that someone could make a coin called Someone and then start to give someone to someone so that someone can start promoting it, someone can start trading someone with someone. So I've been enjoying that. There's 1 million in the liquidity pool. There's an airdrop that is going on where if you're active in the Telegram groups and you're doing good things in the community, you might get tipped someone. I did, so I guess they were somewhat trying to buy my endorsement. But well done, someone. A smart strategy. I make no pretense to be unbiased about that. And okay, it says there's could be up to 10 billion someone issued with the amount of people in the world growing over time. So it kind of makes sense to me. And you can read, oh, look at this. There's all kind of potential someone partner apps, Cauldron, AnyHedge, BCH Guru. So this is beautiful because it's drawing attention to other existing stuff in the ecosystem, right? That's the whole, I mean, you know, it's good, haha, meme, but then if that's linking people up to the rest of the ecosystem, that's even better, right? So what's your thoughts with Someone?
No, it's clever.
Are you someone?
I am someone, believe it or not.
And would you be, you know, repping this as a finalist in our Cash Tokens competition?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I like to play on words. It's funny.
Someone is in the chat right now.
Someone,
a few someones, it appears, actually, as well too. I mean, those were my two top favorite meme coins, essentially. And then we had a bunch of other entrants, though. I've got some of them, not even all of them, on the next slide, which had done some work, but they, were not matching the output of the previous two categories. So we had Baby BCH, which did some associated NFTs. We had YAWN token also in the chat right now, which seems to be like a clone or a remake or something of an ETH project, reusing those same NFTs but then branded with BCH. We had Smile NFT, who have been quite active on Twitter, and I liked that they were not just talking about their token but actually engaging with the news and trying to bring more attention to mostly what was happening in the community. We got SHITCOIN, which I think was just the name. I didn't see anything else memeage about that. We had Lester, the meme coin of the Litecoin L with the eyes on it, that kind of became famous in the Solana community as a troll, and then the Litecoin community were also loving it, so some crossover fans there. And then also CBDC, Croc and Ball Digital Crap, highlighting the incoming CBDC threat, was also submitted, and then a few others, but not that I had seen. We are all someone, says someone. Perfect. So I think these are also our other potential candidates. Do you have a favorite from among these ones, Luke?
Let's see, I'm looking at Smile, and then I'm looking at, let's see, Baby BCH. Let's see here. Baby BCH is pretty clever.
Uh-huh.
I should have bought some Baby Pepe, though, back in the day.
Oh, I see. So it's hit you in the right way there, has it?
Yeah.
Evoking your memories.
I could have got 1,000. I could have got 1,000x on Baby Pepe.
Should have put in a 1,000, hit a mil, no problem.
Let's see here. Baby BC.
Jet, do you have a favorite? What do you?
Yeah, Jet, what's your favorite?
Different memes.
I like the write-up that someone had. I think that for me, although I like the there's something that strikes me as really clever about the Fiendish token. Like if we're transitioning to a gig economy, could everyone tokenize their time?
Yes.
Sure.
And then like things are going to get really interesting. I want to see how far that goes, but I think the someone makes me laugh the most, so I got to give it a bet.
Someone's your favorite. Okay, yeah. Well, because see, with the Fiendish thing, on that point, that's why I think it's so interesting, because he has done that with his time. Now, obviously, it relies on him actually honoring his commitment, but he's well known in the community, has quite a lot at stake if he refused to actually redeem those. But it's an interesting dynamic because he can obviously issue as much of that token as he wants, but he has to be able to back it with his time. So if he issues a small amount and the price goes up on Cauldron, that's essentially the market indicating that they will pay more for his time, and he can issue more tokens, bringing the price back down, but accumulating money in the short term. But he still has to be able to honor that time because now there's more supply floating out in the market. And if he feels he's overextended himself and he wouldn't be able to actually do all the consulting or whatever, if, in the next 2 weeks, loads of people came back to him, he can also solve that problem by buying back his own tokens, right? So it has put a free market consulting value on his time. And like you say, that's not exclusive to him. So I'm playing around. I don't know. I don't want to promise that I'll do this, but I thought it would be interesting if I did one, and then, other people could do one, and then you would essentially have a free floating market and leaderboard of, if you wanted the BCH community on board with whatever project you wanted to do, you would have a bunch of people that were skilled and influential in the community right there. You could go on, buy, a few hours of each of their time, and then just get them all on a call and be like, right guys, I want to do this. Bam. And you've paid for the privilege of that using the cash tokens that you bought. So in that, it's a new level of the economy is always a way of coordinating people's time, in a kind of invisible hand of the market. But that would be a new way of of doing it, you know. And the people who was most traded, it would be interesting to see whose time was traded the most, and who, you know, because you can buy some of his token and then yield farm on the volatility of his time if you think there's going to be a lot of interest in that token as well too, aside from the price, you know.
Yeah, I imagine eventually everyone, like, your status will be somewhat like your time will be tokenized. It'll kind of replace like credit scores. Like your credit score will be tokenized, but it'll be like it'll be linked to like your wallet or whatever. Like how much. I mean, it could be separated somewhat too. It might be like how much capital you have, like how many loans you have out, and like that'll be like a credit score. But it'll also be everyone will have like a persona token people will trade. You know what I mean?
Would you consider doing this, Luke? Would you issue a Luke token for your time, 1 minute of your time per token?
Yeah, that'd be for sure.
Okay.
What will probably be built at some point is like a bigger platform and like a bigger context that interacts with the blockchain, where every will like keep track of like.
But we already have that with Cauldron. On Cauldron, you can already go on and there's tokens, there's the list. Literally, all they need to do is duplicate that screen and rename it to Time Market, and then or something cool sounding chrono market, and then just tag the coins that are known, like Fiendish, like yours, like mine, whatever, and then put the links to their social media or their projects, right? So then it's like your resume is almost kind of there as well, and then you just have a leaderboard going immediately. Yeah,
it's an interesting concept. I'm not sure if it's something that will be sustainable long term. I mean, at some point there will be something that like tokenizes like attention. We're already kind of seeing that with meme coins.
Yeah.
Where people basically like meme coins are like they're basically like buying and selling like the attention economy. Like, so if Elon retweets a meme or something
or like Hulk to our girl selling her podcast, which is basically I'm a meme, listen to my podcast, and then made a bunch of money, right? Or literally sold it as a shitcoin on Solana this week. Yeah,
it rugged everyone. It was actually on Ethereum, I think. Yeah, it was on Ethereum.
Whatever. Yeah. Anyway, so let me.
But it's a cool concept. Things like this it's hard to exactly know where this will all go.
Yes.
But there'll be like personas and like awareness and your time and who you are, like that will become tokenized. How it kind of plays out is hard to say. You know what I mean?
So what do you think? Someone or Fiendish? What's your vote for winner?
I'll go with Fiendish.
Yeah, I'm a fan of Fiendish too. Sorry, Jet. So is someone in at second? Clearly did a lot more effort than these other meme, and it did also make me laugh, I gotta say.
Yeah, we can do so.
The first time I saw it, I laughed. I laughed, and I've laughed at a couple of the follow-up memes as well.
Yeah, we can do that one second.
And then from the list of these
this one's close. Smile and Baby BCH are kind of close for me. I'm deliberating. Which one do you guys like more?
I think Baby BCH did a better job on the graphics, but Smile, I really liked that they had done the engagement with the community, because I followed their Twitter account and I was keeping an eye on it, and they didn't just say Smile is the best, anything like that. They did a bit of that, I think, but they also did, here's what's going on. They were retweeting the guides that people had written or other important information. It seemed very authentically from the BCH community. That's what I saw.
Yeah, Smile definitely is more engaged.
Third place?
Yeah. Let's see here. Yeah, Smile is definitely more engaged.
Do you have a take? Baby BCH or Smile? Do you have a preference?
No, but I do have a idea. So I see,
idea?
And I mean, there have been a couple people who have been testing this out during the stream. We've got the little tip animation up, and thank you for everyone trying this out. I've already picked up a few bugs to fix. But the next part of this will be a polling feature. So we can set up each of these, like, Baby BCH, YAWN, Smile, they can all have their own address. And then you can just send a couple sats to the one that you want to vote for. And whichever address ends up with the most sats can be the winner.
Well, that's what I mean. Now you got my brain thinking. This is what we need to do if we put a podcast coin. Never mind a me coin. Who cares about Jeremy? Let's get a podcast coin going, and then people can we can have, like, if you send in X amount, it will put up a thing. And if you send, like, people already do that with Twitch and what have you, right? If somebody sends in, like, more than 50 coins, then I'll read out their message or something like that, right?
That'd be cool. You could definitely do something like that.
So then we have... that's pretty crazy. That's getting crazy, because then you've tokenized not only my time, but the ability to reach the entire podcast audience. That's a pretty interesting concept.
No, for sure, that'd be cool.
Okay, I think, Jet, we'll have to discuss that offline. I don't know if you... I think I can see you smiling away there. I think you're thinking the same thing as me. Like, this has the potential to go really wrong.
Yeah.
It feels like we're going to have to put some kind of discretionary advisory notice on it if we do something like that.
Yeah. The hard part is actually the messaging, right? If we're just looking for, like, on-chain activity, that's easy. But... yeah, I don't know. The technical
that funds the show. Yeah. We launched some of that. We've already got the fund me's, but then that's another way that drives revenue for the show. And as the show grows, then that increases the value of the token, which funds us to do it. It's an upward loop, right? So, all right. Well, let's think about that.
I think I'm probably gonna go with Smile.
Smile? Okay, you come down and Smile. I agree. I think Smile is definitely my favorite.
Smile is more engaged.
Shitcoin was definitely like a meme, but it's just there wasn't the supporting effort. I wanted to see more from that. Lester, it's an LTC meme though. Like, I like that it made its way into our ecosystem, but there was no, like, BCH variation or nothing like that, that really got my attention. And also CBDC, I think that's clever, trying to reuse those same initials, but again, sort of didn't have the follow up for me. So yeah, YAWN also, I saw they put in a lot of effort. I got to give them credit for they did put in a lot of effort. But something about this drooling purple-headed guy, like, I don't know, it just doesn't...
Didn't someone say they're just retweeting the art from an Ethereum project?
Yeah, well, I think I had a look. There is some YAWN dot something. It's some kind of, ETH project. Again, it's like Lester. It's just a bit derivative from something else without adding some... I want to see some creativity, basically, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, for sure. No, I agree.
Okay. All right, so let's do it like that. Fiendish, congratulations. You have just won yourself a whole BCH, which during the time of the competition went from, what, $300 to $615. That's not bad. Not bad. Second place, half a BCH to someone coin, and third place to Smile NFT. We'll be sending that BCH to the Genesis address of those coins as promised. So keep an eye on your wallets there. I'll do that after the show or tomorrow probably. Okay, we've also got to get onto the image category, the miscellaneous category. So on the first slide with the meme competition, actually we had the first entry, which was one of the more popular ones as well. Not this one, if you go back a couple, Jet. It had the midwit bell curve meme from Josh, and he's done the idiot and the genius, both thinking bigger blocks, and the middle of the bell curve crying is thinking Lightning Network, drive chains, Arc, BitVM, Fedimint. I'm in two minds about this, because this was smart because it is my favorite meme format, so it's pulling on my heartstrings there. but I didn't like that it was just kind of, okay, BCH, BDC idiots, you know, etc. Like, that's already been kind of done to death a little bit, you know. And I've also made memes to this effect beforehand, so I feel like it's not a new sentiment either. But I thought it was a good attempt. I'll say that, but I'm a bit in two minds about it.
Do better.
Okay, all right, harsh from Luke. Okay, then we had one on this slide here from The Big Bang Theory. This one is actually disqualified because BCH_Sun didn't really read the instructions and made a bunch of memes when you were only allowed to submit one, and also failed to provide a QR code, which you had to do. So for both of those reasons, disqualified. But nevertheless, I felt like this one was worth bringing in there because it made me laugh. It's Sheldon and Amy from The Big Bang Theory, for people who know those characters. And Amy is saying BCH is $500, and Sheldon is looking depressed. And then Sheldon kind of admits, I sold out at $200, and then Amy is giving him a consoling hug as they both look kind of like, oh god, that was a mistake. And I like this one because this is going to be the story of some people, right? BCH was, you know, I was thinking the other day, we were buying at $85, $100. Feels like a long time ago now, you know, when you're in the $500-$600 range, and you know, some people buy in at 85 and this guy, I'll just give it a bit of a speculate. It goes up to $200, they cash out, and then they just watch as the train rolls on, you know, without them. So I think this is very relatable. So I don't know, this one made me laugh.
It's a good one.
All right, we also had a poem submitted from Lolo_more, Ode to the Block Size Wars. Quote, they said 1 megabyte was enough. BTC stayed small and tough, but BCH came in with swagger. Why pay fees that make you stagger? Scalable, speedy, cheap as can be. Transactions clear in a jiffy, you'll see. While BCH queues crawl slow as a snail, BCH zips by, leaving no trail. Store of value, BTC purists shout. Enjoy your hodl while we're cashing out. So when your fees start draining your gains, switch to BCH, free yourself from chains. End quote. So I thought that was actually not a bad effort. I don't know if there was any ChatGPT involved in writing this or not, but
yeah,
I thought it was a decent bit of poetry there.
We'll see. We'll let that seem. Let it simmer.
There was somebody else also did a poem, but I didn't put that in the mix on the slides. It didn't appeal to me as much, but again, a good effort to be writing some poetry. We've got one here from who is this guy in The Simpsons? This little derpy guy who's holding the ice cream.
That's Ralph Wiggum.
In The
That's the
Simpsons.
chief.
Ralph Wiggum.
Lisa's son.
Okay, Ralph Wiggum. Yeah, he's always the derpy guy, right? And it's him holding an ice cream cone which says, presumably about to drop it or do something stupid, and it says, Bitcoin Cash is the real Bitcoin. And I actually love this one because this one's a bit of an anti-meme. You know, like, this is one that the BTC guys kind of made to make fun of the whole Bitcoin Cash is the real Bitcoin. But on the other hand, when BCH is doing well, it ironically becomes funny to the BCH community, just like John Carvalho with his Bcash hands. So I actually thought this was a pretty smart entry. This is not necessarily an original meme, but it's clever and it made me laugh. And I also think it's very funny if we have it and we are posting it. So
yeah. It's funny. I don't think it's gonna make the cut, but
okay. All right. You're not as impressed. Okay, we had one here. This one's a video, Jet. If you can pull this up, we'll have a nice little 2-minute movie session.
A few moments later.
What is going on inside their head?
6 months later.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't.
I've been in the hills, fucking superstars, feeling like a pop star. Drinking in the bad bitches, jumping in the pool, and they ain't got on no bra. Put her from the back, pulling on the tracks, and now she's screaming out no more.
It's definitely.
All right, so for the audio listeners, that one was a little 2-minute story of a Wojak speculating on the Beachungus meme and certainly making riches off of it. So I saw Jet was cracking up, Luke's dying laughing. This is his favorite, it seems. I also laughed several times watching it the first time and the second time. So I think that one's definitely in for a prize.
I PM'd the guy on Twitter and I was like, do you do because I was gonna maybe like hire him just to do like some Chungus art. He's like he doesn't even do graphic design. It's like, what? How do you even make this?
How do you make this?
Like, what?
Opportunity came knocking and just like no interest at all.
Dude.
Maybe already rich on Chungus, so no need to be paid
No,
work.
that's
Politely declined.
No, I love the format. It's like the classic Biznacci videos. You know.
All right, well memed. We've got one more video submission that we had here. This one comes from CM.
I haven't seen this one.
Yeah, okay, let's take a look at this one.
Ta-da! 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 Meanwhile. Whew.
I finally found it.
All right, so that was the story of a little stick figure guy trying out the BTC, ETH, Solana, fees were too high, there was too much congestion or whatever, and then gets on the BCH, and of course it's all really good. I thought it was a little bit illogical how it was going to a bank every time. The whole point of crypto is you're not going to any banks. So I thought there was, I mean, I understand the visualizing and things as a bank, but I would have just made it a building and not, you know, some kind of bank.
It's the Bank of Bcash, bro.
The central bank of Bcash. With the Jessica posters, I thought that was a nice touch. The wallets, getting a shout out, the BLISS NFTs.
Yeah, for sure. That's definitely my second so far.
Okay, all right. And well, I've got one more that was not a video that just also made me laugh. It was an image. It's this classic one that people might have seen, but it's dinner with candles. And it's a guy sitting on a date with a girl, and he's like got his hair like slicked, like he's, get this fancy dinner with candles, and the girl is looking like, this is great, and the guy's looking like, oh God, what am I doing here with my life? And there's a red X on it, and then the second one is dinner with candles, except it's different guy. I don't know whether it's supposed to be the same guy or a different guy, but he's got no hair anyway, so classic meme character with his ramen, and he's just watching the green candles go up on his trading graph, and then they've just put a Celine wallet QR code on it. So this one also is not original necessarily, but I just this meme makes me laugh because it strikes a bit close to home for me. So in that respect, I thought it had some merit. I don't know. What do you think, Luke?
Just looking through all these.
There's a bunch more in the Twitter thread if you see one that you like. Those were some of my top picks and favorites, but it's certainly not.
This pinky in the I like this pinky in the brain one.
Neanderthal, he made one. Yeah, I mean, I think we're agreed that definitely the Beachungus meme that's one of our three. So that's a winner for sure.
I like that other video too, the bank one.
Okay, the bank one did enough to get over the line for you.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then third's gonna be closer. I'm just scrolling through
there's a Trump and Joe Biden one. It's political.
This one's pretty funny with the Trump and the bazooka. He's like shooting the bear market with a bazooka. That one's pretty funny, actually.
Okay.
He's got three of them. Let's see.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing also as well, while you're deciding, I think I want to give a shout out to Paul again, running the Bitcoin Netherlands meetups, but he also made a guide on how to make cash tokens and stuff like that. So I think that could be cool, like that. Maybe he also deserves a few sats for making that guide on how to do it, because people were using that guide to figure out how to list on Cauldron. So I don't know. We've got the two videos, and you need to pick one other one. I like this poem, too, man. I like Ode to the Block Size Wars.
I like this one where it's like the king and they're all bowing down to Bitcoin Cash. That was a good one. That one's pretty funny.
I mean, technically, Paul didn't. It sounds like none of the other ones are really grabbing you so much. Like maybe Paul can get some of the sats for making the guide. That guy was really good, sure. And I'm sure several people used it. So the two videos and maybe Paul for the third category.
Yeah, we can do that.
All right, there you have it. Well, congratulations to OX Coffee and CM Works for the effort on the videos, and anyone who got featured as well, and anyone who submitted any memes. Anyone can go on. You can go on there and you can tip. They all put their QR codes. So if you disagree with us, you think we were unfair or we picked the least funny ones, well, you can rectify that in the free market by going there and scanning the QR codes of whichever ones you like and sending them some BCH. But I'm glad. Any thoughts on the meme competition as a whole, though? This was a different year for us. We really branched out a bit with doing the cash tokens element to it. I think it went well, actually. I think it drove a pretty good amount of interest, and probably by next year it'll be out of control if BCH starts getting more traction, right? The standard's going to keep going up. Like Fiendish has set the bar pretty high for launching a token on BCH.
Yeah, it's good. You should get the awareness out, let people know, and experiment with tokens on Bitcoin Cash. Because, like I said, so many people aren't even aware that you can do this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Even people that hold BCH, most people that hold BCH. It's just like on their Coinbase wallet or something, and it's like,
Yeah, giving them another reason to look into it. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, for sure.
Have you guys gotten like Coinbase ads on YouTube or on your TV yet?
Maybe one time.
I don't think I have.
Oh man, it's like,
Are they good?
no, it's like it's like a generic looking Walmart commercial, and I like every time I watch it, I'm like, Alex and I here know more than fucking probably the people that wrote this commercial. Like, get this off my TV.
Yeah, I mean they're a big corporate entity, you know.
Yeah, they're just full sellout. You know, Coinbase was going to be the revolution, but it ended up being Brian Armstrong's way to get rich, while everybody else got, you know, scammed. You know, basically. So, you know, because remember, like, that was really controversial when they went from just whatever it was, BTC and LTC, and then they added BCH, and then at some point there was like the quality control of being on Coinbase was like a reputable thing, and then at a certain point they just listed all this dog shit, and then everybody was like, all right, that's
no, they've done some sketchy stuff, but I mean they're an exchange. Every single exchange has done sketchy things almost.
Yeah, the
most
reputable
is probably like Kraken.
Yeah,
or something like that. Yeah, Coinbase is like with Litecoin listing, like one of their, like Charlie Lee was one of their engineers, and then he had like he had a bunch of the supply, and then he got the insider listing, and then even with Bitcoin Cash, I remember with Bitcoin Cash, they listed it all of a sudden without telling anyone. Remember they said they were gonna like list it at a certain time, and then all of a sudden, like at midnight one day. Like without telling anyone ahead of time, they just listed it and they pump and dumped it. Like it was just.
I was like watching that when it happened, and I remember that was weird to watch because, you know, day one going into this, I was like, I'm not selling. Like that has always been my rule. I will use it to buy things, but I'm never gonna sell this on an exchange unless I'm like homeless and absolutely need to survive or something. And I've never been more tempted, but I remember trying, and they wouldn't let you. So even if it, you know, you see this wick up to like $2,000, and you're like, I'll sell $50 of this now. Who cares? Would not let you sell. Weird.
Yeah.
What? Yeah. Yeah, that whole thing was, I mean, we had Josh Ellerthorpe on the show. I still remember in episode 50, he gave us a rundown of kind of some of what was going on behind the scenes there at Coinbase at that time, where he was one of the senior engineers, I think, at that time. So if you're interested in some of that, you can go back episode 50, and we did a segment in there where I asked him about it, and he explained some of what went, at least his version of events, you know, of what went on. Not that that's necessarily the canonical truth either, but I have literally no idea. I've never had a Coinbase account, so I don't know one way or the other. But
I mean, I've used Coinbase before. They're fine. I mean, they are what they are. There's so many on-ramps though nowadays. Like
there wasn't.
Yeah, PayPal, Venmo. Like there's some
peer-to-peer, someone in the community, you know, as the crypto spreads more and more and more, it becomes easier and easier to like, oh, my mate's into crypto, and then I'll, you know, do a deal with him. Yeah.
Exactly. But Coinbase kind of is a necessary evil. Like that's another thing that like I'm not sure how that will look like in the future. Like is everyone going to store their private keys? I don't know if most people can handle that.
I've noticed something happening with peer-to-peer transactions recently, and I'm curious if this has happened to you guys too. So with the BLISS coming up, Alex, I mean, she's not involved in crypto or like BCH or, you know, any of this, just my
like proximity.
Yeah, I guess she's tolerated my shenanigans for long enough. She entertains the ideas now. But with BLISS coming up, she's like, oh, when I go out and buy groceries or something, and you pay me your half in Bitcoin Cash because I want to start saving up for this trip. This is the first time I've had someone, you know, given the opportunity to pick their currency, be like, can you pay me in Bitcoin Cash, please?
Yes.
Yeah. Just seeing those green candles.
Well, I don't know. I mean, my experience with that is sort of mixed, I'll say. Like, it's a really good thing to basically what you want to do is when people know that you're into crypto and then you mention it to them, you talk about it, they say, okay, you're one of those crypto people, whatever. And then at a certain point, an opportunity will come up to do a transaction where it's like, oh, pay me back for this beer, or let me pay you for the bus ride, or whatever. And then that's where you say, yeah, sure, do you want BCH or fiat? And then probably I'd say most of the time, usually people say fiat, but offering them the choice puts it in their head. And then if it's a good friend of yours, after 3 or maybe 3 to 5 times, they kind of go, oh, I'll take the BCH. And then you show them how it works. And then they think, wow, that was actually pretty simple. That was really easy. And then maybe it happens a couple more times. So,
but I feel like what happens then is like they get to a point where it's like, you know, maybe 6 months down the road, they're like, what do I do with this? But this is like, she knows exactly what she wants to do with it. Like, that's awesome to me. It's not just this speculative thing. It's like, I want to earn some money so I can go to this country and this event and spend my money there.
Yes.
That's exactly what I wanted out of all of this.
Yes. Well, it's where the whole BLISS thing has made a huge impact. And again, that's why I think it would be great, you know, if we see if more people are bringing along their partners or even their kids. I saw a couple of people said maybe they'll do that, right? Like, and just to be clear, like, BLISS is not actively like supporting, you know, having your whole family there, but there's no reason that you can't. It's like, if you're, you know, able to organize that and look after them and, you know, everything, then that's fine. You just take them on holiday, you come to Slovenia, they can see a bit of what's going on. And I think also, if they do that, I think in 10 years time, it'll be like, holy crap, you know, I was there on the ground floor. I actually become a really cool story for anybody who gets involved in that way, right? But that's the whole point, is as people find their way into the community, it becomes real to them. And I saw that happen several times at BLISS with people who were there sort of affiliated with someone else, or even they knew about crypto but they didn't really know about BCH or something like that. There was a lot of like eye-opening, like, wow. And like I said before, the hotel staff and everything, it really all becomes like real when you see it happening in front of you with everybody who's on board with actually using, you know, P2P cash and stuff. So yeah, for all those reasons, come to BLISS basically. Tickets on sale Jan 15th. Get fired up and bring your girlfriend, she'll love it. Holiday to Slovenia. All you got to do is just just say we're going on holiday, get it over the line that way, and then afterwards you'll have a BCH convert. You heard it here. You heard it here first. That's the strategy.
My wife will tell her friends to buy Bitcoin Cash, and even though she doesn't really understand
like,
it. She's like, one. Yeah, it's just she knows that she
outsourced. Yeah, outsource the judgment. Smart lady. All right, so message to the community. Luke, you can let them know, what are you feeling? How's BCH doing? What's the vibe?
I think we're on the right track. You know, I'm very glad to see this sort of pivot to allow the more DeFi capabilities, and that's been very important for Bitcoin Cash to get network effects. But there's still a long road ahead. Don't get too caught up in tribalism. You know, there's a lot of smart people in a lot of other communities. You know, Bitcoin Cash isn't necessarily the end all be all. We gotta, you know, the truth is always somewhere in between.
All right, Jet, cut the stream. See you later, mate. No, go, carry on.
But yeah, it's great to see you know, more traction, I think, is happening on social media and things like that. And yeah, I think what we really want to focus on is attracting builders that are going to build this next generation of apps on Bitcoin Cash. That's really what I want to see. I want to see all these new teams and builders and projects start to pop up. You want it to get to the point where you can't even keep track.
Yeah. I feel like it's just about, I mean, we're at that point with a lot of other stuff like community chatter, Telegram groups. I cannot keep up with all of that. I can keep up with major DeFi project announcements, but yeah, like you say, as that escalates, soon enough we won't be able to, right?
Yeah. So yeah, just be open to other people in other communities, and just, you know, when they ask questions, just be open to them, I think. Because people are sometimes more open than you would think. You know, sometimes the Bitcoin Cash community can be a little bit gated.
Yeah. It's hard to get into if you don't have a friendly initial reception,
Yeah, for sure. So you just want to be as friendly as possible, I think, and tipping tokens and stuff like that on Twitter, and just having fun with it, and just giving a little bit of your energy to it, kind of is a great way to evangelize it. And I would say also, this is a little bit out of left field, but if you make life-changing money this bull run, you should take some off the table.
Yeah.
Change your life if that comes to fruition.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very good advice.
Sometimes people get a little bit too caught up in they want to, never want to sell it, or you just use it for transactions. Well, changing your life is never a bad idea.
Yeah. And that'll give you more time and energy and stability to then be part of it more in the future.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
It's a good thing. Yes.
And that's part of the ebb and flow of the crypto cycles, But it's good. It's a good thing, because a lot of us that are OGs hopefully will make a lot of money, and we'll be able to fund a lot of the next wave of projects in the next bull market.
That's right. So start getting good at recognizing when a good opportunity is coming up, because as your wealth increases, like it's fixed in BCH essentially, but it's going up in purchasing power, then that's a chance for you to give back and start contributing to fund me's, contributing to flip starters, telling people who are interested in the scene, maybe you should look at this, and maybe giving them just a small amount of cash to get started if you have some reason to believe that. But obviously start small, because your judgment is not necessarily going to be great. You're not going to get everyone right, but your hit rate will get better as you get better at detecting where are the resources most needed, essentially.
Yeah, it's fun to play around with small amounts in some of these DeFi protocols, I would say. Like I said, there will be people that make a lot of money doing different things with these new protocols, whether that's yield farming or taking out loans or just trading assets, starting their own meme token that might go viral. So don't be afraid to, don't put all your eggs in one basket, but take a little bit here and there and play around with it. You know what I mean? And learn what you're doing.
An expert. And then you have those skills to onboard more people.
Yeah, for sure. And there'll be a lot of opportunity, to build things on Bitcoin Cash. Bitcoin Cash still needs a bridge, for example. If someone raises money to build a bridge, so other tokens can be on Bitcoin Cash, that will be a big one, similar to a stable token, so you can do all that sort of stuff. All these other DeFi protocols, there's opportunities for builders to make a lot of money too.
Yeah, absolutely. Martin Velichkov in the chat has asked a whole bunch of questions, but said, how much is a life-changing amount? Well, it depends on your life. So
yeah, there's no way to answer that question.
The whole point is it's changing your life. You'll know how much it is yourself. And then loans, where can you do loans? Well, on app.moria.money, like we were talking about at the start of the episode.
I would say a reasonable threshold for life-changing money for a lot of people is just like buying a house, or if you own a house, paying it off.
Yes.
That's a pretty good sort of level, I think. What I would consider life-changing money for most people is just buying a house or paying off your mortgage.
Exactly. Then you're kind of set, like you're fighting from a strong strategic base
for sure.
of financial stability.
And that's one reason why that Bitcoin Cash community, a lot of the OGs are so strong, is because a lot of the OGs in Bitcoin Cash already made their money. A lot of new people to Bitcoin are very desperate for it to go up. With a lot of the retail,
It's
like a lot of people
taking out loans to buy this shit. Like that, they're going into debt. Like
it's getting worse.
So you need to be prudent with those sorts of things. If you sell half your Bitcoin Cash to change your life, no one should judge you, and if they do, that's wrong of them.
Yeah, well, they won't, because you will just have so much more impact from a stable position. That's the thing. You can't be winning a war, fighting the revolution. But if your shit's paid off and you've got all day, you've retired yourself, or you've been able to cut back on your other, fiat grind or anything, whatever it is, even if it's only a small amount, then that just exponentially builds up, because if you have free time and sats on your hand, you'll find a way to, and especially if you're excited about BCH because it's gone well, you'll find ways to be useful and productive or tie it into your next thing. And yeah, it's a lot more fun when you're doing things out of sort of passion and interest and motivation rather than because you have to, because the next bill is coming to you, you know.
But overall, I think it's a very exciting time for Bitcoin Cash.
Yeah.
We're at the threshold.
Yeah. I mean, I guess if there was a timeline where it wasn't going to work out, it sort of feels like we're running away from it, you know?
Yeah, I agree.
We're getting close to the moment where it all starts happening, and then it's crazy for 2 or 3 years, and then afterwards everyone looks back at like, oh, remember the good old days when it was just a few of us kicking around, you know, grinding it out for the passion kind of thing, in it for the tech, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, excellent. So shout out to our FundMe contributors. Technically, this is episode 136, but we don't always get a new FundMe going at the start. So this will have to do. I will set up another FundMe, but I just haven't had time to do that yet. Our contributors, Majamali Marcelo, 2024.bcharg.com, Molecular, Erdogan Talk, Economics Writer, BCH Audist, LFG, Cash Stamps, biggest soundboard for BCH we have. Keep up the great job, guys. Peter Wooler, I think that goal should be and can realistically be everyone simultaneously having on-chain funds. Milton Friedman, Emergent Reasons, Stay Grounded, Stay Awesome, P2P Electronic Cash for the World. Yeah, beer, try to get Vlad Kostia on one of these next episodes. Would be a great discussion as he's opening up. Big V and the Bitcoin Cash Tokyo Gang, Bitcoin Cash Tokyo weekly meetup, session community, http://bitcoincash.tokyo. Bitcoin Jason, you are, I am, we are all Satoshi. Let's do our part. And certainly everybody is, because that's how you can see the traction and excitement growing in the community. Thank you to our donators and our patrons, Ricky and HP. I need to actually add an S on that, patrons. And our sponsors, General Protocols. Check out bchbull.com. All right, if you're new to the show, you can hit up episode 85 to get all the backstory of what this is all about. Start guide, FAQ, and links are at bitcoincashpodcast.com, and you can be one of those 843 Selene wallet active users at selene.cash. That's pretty much it from me. Final thoughts and shout outs. Where can people find more from you, Luke?
If you want to find me for my mineral bouncing work, my YouTube channel is Life Labs HTMA. Hopefully, actually, one of my goals is to be more focused on that in 2025, like especially like towards the end of 2025. I would like make certain investments in some of my friends' companies, like supplements and stuff like that, that are focused on that sort of work. It's funny. I'm getting so many calls about people that I haven't talked to in years about crypto right now. It's kind of annoying me. I almost don't want to be in my personal circle. I almost don't want to be known as the crypto guy anymore. I'd rather be known as like the mineral bouncing guy. So like, at some point I would like to pivot. Yeah, I would like to pivot from that a little bit. Like I'll always be involved in Bitcoin Cash, I think, until it takes over the world at least. So then, I can retire as a Bitcoin Cash shill. But until then, I'm going to be fighting the maxis every day on Twitter, shit posting, tagging Michael Saylor, just, having a lot of fun with it, trying to garner up attention.
Any special shout outs to anyone else you think
Jason, I don't know how to say his last name, Dreisner. I just love his work. I love hearing him talk and his passion and his technical knowledge. I know a lot of developers. Shout out to Rift and Labs. What they're doing is fantastic. General Protocols. A lot of these first generation of builders on Bitcoin Cash that are really, setting a new frontier.
Amazing. Chad, any shout outs this week? Nope. Okay.
Actually, I guess one, but like not a personal one. This shout out goes to Brad Leone. He has his own YouTube channel. He was also on Bon Appetit's YouTube channel. Taught me all about making fermented foods. Real, like, high energy guy. I've been loving those videos.
Okay. All right. I'll don't know what it's about. I'll have to look into that. And mine go to Fiendish and to Paul. Both are just putting up massive work in the BCH community at the moment, and it's just really noticeable. And I've been appreciating what they've been doing. The impact that they're having is super visible with some of the content that they're making, and obviously also the stuff with getting the politicians involved with Paul and everything. It's just amazing. And I think obviously as time goes on and the BCH network effect is building, there's always that cycle of there's always room for somebody new to come in and really make it an impact if they start taking BCH seriously and putting up, a huge project. Now, both of those guys have been doing it for a while. I'm not saying that they've just, popped out of nowhere to do this, but anybody listening to this show who's thinking, well, how do I, get that kind of shout out? It's the same thing you can do. Make yourself publicly known. It can be pseudonymous. It can be, with just your first name or however you want to do it, and start doing something important in the community and stick at it for 6 months or a year, and people will really notice if you're doing good work. So those guys are both inspiring me at the moment, and I think they've done amazing. And everybody can think about coming to BLISS, because we're coming up to the end of the year. Maybe you're planning your holidays for next year, your vacation days from work. Maybe you're doing some budgeting, whatever it is. Maybe just set aside some money. May 13th, 15th, Ljubljana. Bring someone along, maybe, and I'll see you there. It's going to be great. Tickets are on sale Jan 15th, and there'll be more about that coming on the show. All right, that'll do it, everyone. Thanks for watching. Until next time.
Bye, everyone.
Reports that more than 500,000 Iraqi children have died as a direct result of U.S. sanctions. It's not just theoretical. These are real people with real lives. 500,000 kids? I'm sorry for shouting, but it just disgusts me what these people in government do. And they do it through central banking and through the control of the money supply, and Bitcoin takes that away from them.
This is the sound of freedom coming out your speakers. Are they playing hide and seek or finders keepers? Let me define my thesis. While they treasonous deep in the malfeasance, a grand deception, 1,000 reasons, keeping the truth out of our reach. The powers that be, no morale for peace, just war when there's mouths to feed.